Hello everyone, it is Julia aka The Mug Life DIY, and today is a super fun and exciting video, something I've never done, but I'm excited for it. I'm doing a Dollar Tree review video. So I know I posted this on my Instagram several weeks ago, but in case you didn't know it, Dollar Tree is starting to roll out more cutting machine tools. So I grabbed 2 tools and some transfer tape, which it's not in the box, I have to find it. Thanks, children. And some vinyl. So I'm going to review it on a couple of different surfaces and see how it basically reacts, if it's worth the money. Yes, it's only $1, but is it worth going to another store to buy it or ordering it from Cricut? So I'm excited to get into this, and let's just dive right on in. I'm excited. Okay. This is the craft picker. They actually had them in several different colors. So let's pull this open. Okay. So much. Okay. See how it feels. Okay. So this one is kind of in a pink, light pink, rose kind of color. It's got a really sharp edge. I think that will work out really well. It also has this little indent on both sides. That one, I think it's gonna be pretty good. Then we have the craft scraper. Okay, this one I just picked up in the all white, and I'm constantly losing this. So I'm kind of hoping that this will work out well, and then if I can find more in my Dollar Tree, I will grab more because it's always better to have a few. One thing I noticed off the bat is it actually has a really nice kind of a fine point on the edge. One side has this like little bevel in it and the other side is completely flat. You can kind of see. This also came in several different colors. It didn't come in that matching pink color. I would have grabbed it, but they did not have them. Let me see. Thought I put my tools in here. We're gonna do a side-by-side comparison, and I'll zoom in so you can see both side by side. So they're pretty similar in size. Main difference that just right off with feeling, they're about the same weight. Cricut has a little bit of a smoother grip on the top, just so when you're holding it, you kind of have that nice little grip to it. This is pretty much the same plastic all the way through. They both have that little divot. Honestly, I think they're pretty much identical in the area as far as they feel. So we'll put both of them to the test and you can see which one and how they do. Sides of the weeding machine, or weeding tools. Okay, so this one is actually the Dollar Tree one. I feel like I have a curved one somewhere, but I'm currently craft roomless. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. So I can't find it. So I can only find my straight one. They both feel the same, other than this one has the curved, but I know I have a curved one. They're both super pointy. Oh my God, I think I just like, so both really sharp. They don't really feel any different weight-wise. I do kind of like this little grip on the Dollar Tree one, and I really love the color. It's so pretty. This one came in that little blue, but I'm excited. I'm gonna see which one, how they perform. I'm still gonna try to find my Cricut one, but I'm excited to dive into this and the transfer paper. 2 different surfaces. We're going to do wood and plastic. I'm going to put a little decal on my son's cup. So we're gonna see how they handle those 2 surfaces, and let's dive right on. And either my son or my daughter grabbed the only cup that I had that I was going to put the decal on and ran off with it. Instead, I decided to recycle this plastic bottle into a decorative piece for my kitchen. Yes, going completely off the original path, but I think it's going to work. So I took this little lemonade plastic jar and I cut off the little top section and just made that as even as I could all the way around. And through the wonderful power of YouTube, I spray painted this little plastic container with 2 coats of, yes, my very favorite Farmhouse Black spray paint by Rust-Oleum. And I'm taking these Dollar Tree stickers. These are the little raised ones that I have literally been looking for the longest time. I have several friends that have done some really awesome and very inspiring DIYs with these little raised gems. They're just so amazing. So I decided to put them all the way around on the very top and on the bottom. I thought it would add a lot of dimension and I could paint and they would look fabulous. So bear with me. Let's get through going all the way around on the bottom and the top. I did have to put about 2 coats of my black acrylic paint over top just to kind of even it out and let that dry in between each coat. And this is probably one of my favorite brushes. It's a fan brush, and I just lightly spread a little bit of my white acrylic paint all over the little circles and the little ridges off to the side, just to give a little bit of pop of the white and the color. And yes, if you don't see up in that top little left-hand corner is the original little plastic cup. I was gonna do a decal for my son, but how my brain works is completely backwards. I did this little decal print first, then painted second. So yes, I am taking, now this first one, I took my standard grip mat and I cut down the vinyl and placed it on. The first option I did was I left the backing on. There were no instructions on how to use this vinyl. I was literally going crazy with these bubbles. This paper, it feels almost like newspaper or a really flimsy cardstock. It's kind of hard to describe the weight of it, and it literally didn't work. You can see I tried to get all the bubbles out, and what it ended up doing was sticking to my Cricut standard grip mat. So I peeled all of that off and had to begin again. I placed my plastic cover back on and I went with my light grip mat. Now I thought of 2 different options to try to figure out this paper. Okay, at this point I'm like so determined to get this paper and to get this print and figure it all out, because I'm not a professional at my Cricut yet. I am still exploring, I'm still practicing, and I'm still learning. So it's a process. What I did, instead of using the little cardboard backing that this vinyl had, is I took it off and placed it on my light grip. So I did the sticky side down and used the little scraper that the Dollar Tree has and placed it on. I then loaded in my light grip mat into my Cricut. I then logged into my Cricut design space on my phone just because it's a little bit easier for me on my phone. It's a little bit quicker. But if you really like manipulating your Cricut designs, definitely use your laptop or your computer. It just is so much easier. It's easier to see and to do instead of using your fingers. So I wasn't quite sure what I wanted. I wanted something maybe springy, but wasn't entirely sure. I found a couple that I really liked, but I adored this. I stopped to smell the roses. I thought, oh, this would be perfect. I could put some little roses in here. All right, guys, this is where and when it began to go wrong some more. I, of course, had to fix the adjustment because I can't cut straight. I did not have a rotary blade or anything like that. So I had to first kind of shift my image off to the side, as you can see, towards the right. I did change it to removable vinyl because the Dollar Tree said this was a removable vinyl. Then I loaded it into my machine, tapped go, and it began cutting. What I should have showed you was how my machine did not like this vinyl. It was wonky. Let me just say, it could not cut at all the scroll design. It began to peel and everything. Oh, where do I begin? Mistakes were made. So I tried to just kind of weed what I saw, and I don't think it was necessarily the tool. I didn't realize that this vinyl hadn't cut all the way through. First mistake. I kept going, kept trying, then I thought I could make it into a stencil instead. But if you can see the L's, I would have had to have left the little in between so you could tell they were L's, and yeah. So what did I end up doing? I pulled it off and I tried to cut it to be able to use the rest of the vinyl. Little did I know that it had already pulled and ripped some from my Cricut. Don't recommend this method. Learn from these mistakes. Okay, I will admit I don't even know which attempt this was. If this was my second, third, like fourth, I don't know. I've lost track of how many horrible mishaps has happened with this vinyl. So I decided to cut a smaller piece just up at the top. I smoothed out any bubbles and I did leave the backing on. I wanted to see if this would work any better. Printed out a super simple vinyl in my Cricut design space, printed that off, and you can see this super simple pull off when I did an easy design. I used the Dollar Tree transfer tape. I pulled it off. Now, since I left that backing on there, you can't even tell that I made a cut. Just, you couldn't really tell. I wanted to kind of slowly go, but then it all came off, which actually excited me. I was finally getting excited that I was going to accomplish and finish this task of using this vinyl. I felt like I had just wasted so many mistakes, and this was the final outcome. This was the last straw. It would not stick. I just kept varnishing it, and I just kept rubbing until it finally stuck. I did have to kind of separate it a little bit, and I let that set, and then I pulled it and it came right off. So I would just say, if you did get this, you gotta take your time. Now, this is a piece, it's reacting to a plastic painted surface. I did the little taco and folded my vinyl in half and rubbed it on. I just kept rubbing just to make sure I could get a good cover. I tried to see if any of the sides would just come off without me having to press it down, but I had no luck. So I had to push down with my little tool, which is so helpful, and I was able to pull the rest down, and it did not peel off any paint. So I would say, perhaps because it is not that sticky, if you had a painted surface, this Dollar Tree transfer tape is great because it didn't pull any off. I did seal it with some Mod Podge, which I always tend to do. And here is the wood painted surface. Now, I was so frustrated at this point in the night that I decided to just make a cutout with the vinyl and see how it would apply to the surface, if it would peel, if it would stick. I just kind of wanted to see how it would do. I rubbed it on with my handy dandy little tool and rubbed probably for a few minutes and had no pulling, no tearing, nothing. So I was happy with that. Then I went to flip the side over, which is an unfinished wood, just to see how it would react to that surface. Did the same process, cut it off into a little heart shape and applied it down. And here's how my little piece turned out. If you can't tell the struggle that I went through to show you this piece, you would not realize that this was, in fact, cheap Dollar Tree vinyl. I did stage it a few different ways to see how I would like it. I didn't end up liking the paper towel, but I opted for some of my faux greenery instead. This one I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby. Final judgment of the Dollar Tree vinyl is don't waste your money on it. Transfer tape was not good. Honestly, if you want a cheaper version, the contact paper is better, not this transfer tape. I think they could get better. Maybe a few comments or people giving recommendations on their website, reviews, all of those kinds of things. So I might even do that, I don't know. It definitely was not very tacky, and it stuck a little bit to the painted surfaces, so I wouldn't waste your money on it unless you just want to practice, not really make or sell items. I would say the Dollar Tree tools are really great options. They worked great. I actually really loved this one for weeding. I liked the grip on it. I thought it worked really well. They're both lightweight, good options, but I would not be on the hunt for the Dollar Tree vinyl options. I don't think it's the best quality. If you want a cheaper alternative, there are so many great websites. I will have a couple linked down below. Mr Crafty Pants, I love his vinyl. He buys from a certain company and their quality is amazing and it's really affordable. So if you're on a budget and you have a Cricut or another cutting machine, look for better options. Don't buy. I'm saying it again. Don't be searching for it. Don't be hunting for it. Tools, yes. Others, no. So I hope you guys liked this video, and I will probably be doing more reviews sometime on in this year if I find other things that you guys might be on the hunt for, and just to see if it's good quality now. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the week, and I will see you Friday.